Silent coins building up. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. If you've been sticking with me on these videos, you have well over 200% increase in profit from like the past couple weeks. But looking at this entry we had on XLM the other day, literally like a day and a half, maybe 2 days ago, depending on where you're at, we captured about 80% increase in profit on XLM. The total was around 125% from this absolute bottom. We did not get that entry. We did see the support and the volume picking up, however, and captured the rest of that 80% increase. And I always want you to keep this in mind, not keeping all your eggs in one basket, because I do want to compare this to quant, as there are some viewers who have been looking at quant and holding big bags of it as well. And I believe Aaron is trapped around 120, 124. Not to call you out in any way, but I'm glad we saved you from selling that $7,000 loss, as we had that immediate support and push back up towards around the 119, 121 range for QNT. Now, QNT is not finished. This is the absolute bottom for QNT. It's very good to see the support happening right now, and we may see a little bit of a double top depending on what Bitcoin is doing. When we're moving over to Bitcoin, we see that Bitcoin is actually at its absolute all-time high, or right near it. Its all-time high was around 123,000. I was explaining that once we stayed over 108, we were just going to have a push up. We held that support as well, continuation, and pushed up once more. We could potentially see a little bit of rejection on Bitcoin, depending on what people are doing. And you could expect the Fibonacci retracement to 114. Even 115 being a retracement to hit that fair value gap that is appearing right here. The next step is right around this fair value gap around 113. And for Bitcoin to go higher, you can't expect it to just keep pushing upward. That is a possibility. We have seen it happen before, but we always expect for a pretty hefty decrease in price before a further push up. This is only around 7%. To hit that 618 retracement. Could happen very quick, and we could have a bunch of buy orders within this area before getting pushed up even further. However, when people are pulling money out of Bitcoin, they start putting it into other cryptocurrencies such as QNT and XRP, XYO, all those good ones. But we do want to keep in mind this could potentially be hitting a double top like this. But for the most part, we are holding our coin and waiting to see if it will break this high of around $125 before pushing up to around 150. So keeping that in mind, quant is still looking very healthy. It's holding above the 200 EMA. The RSI is nearing the 50. Volume is picking up a little bit. All these are good. It held that support on that downward trend line. Everything is looking good on QNT for a hold. However, if it breaks this upward trend line, we may see a little bit of a quick sell to push underneath the 200 EMA, creating that double bottom and more support to push it upwards. With that being said, moving over to XYO, we'll do XCN and XRP on a different video. But judging by what I had previously put out here, from the height of the diamond pattern, which is the inside of this area, we pulled that out and we expected to break somewhere over here. It broke a little bit sooner. However, looking at that price range, that's almost exactly where the price had moved before having a retracement, looking for a little bit of support here around the 0.011 cent area. XYO is not finished. It's just testing support before a further leg upwards, finishing out this cup and handle. And we may get a little rejection here around the 2.4, 2.5 cent area, a little pushback before ultimately pushing beyond that cup and handle and having major gains like we have seen with Demo, bringing in perpetual protocol. This is one I brought in the last video. It's looking very nice and healthy, starting to build some support, holding over the 200 EMA. The RSI is right around the 50. Volume is also picking up. All this is good news for perpetual income, or perpetual protocol, sorry, and perpetual income, obviously. But you can see it's at an absolute low at this point. And if we're doing it off of probability, the probability of this going back up to that all-time high, looking at the Fibonacci, we are still in the red. But the 618 is here at the $14 mark from a 27-cent investment. So very good risk to reward on perpetual income, perpetual protocol. My God, yeah, perpetual protocol, because income will be coming once we push over that 200 EMA, keeping support off this black upward trend line. Moving over to Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash had a 15% pump and dump real quick, but this is like the 10th time it's touched this upper trend line. I told you once it touches that, it's going to break out. It did its breakout to $12 from a $10 investment. It may not seem like much, but that is nearly 15-20% of an increase within 4 hours of time frame. So very good scalp trade happening right here. We just keep testing this upper line at $10 to $11. When this actually breaks and holds, the all-time high for Tornado is, I believe, over $459 for the all-time high. It's way up here. So we are at a very low point. They are doing a lawsuit. They're trying to gather money to keep the business alive. But they're gaining like $3.5 million to fight this lawsuit. And when that goes over and they win or lose, we are going to see some massive pumps just with the accumulation of Tornado Cash. And just like all the other lawsuits, they beat their lawsuit in Texas. But when they beat their lawsuit, it was right around this area, breaking over that downward trend line. And it's been slowly creeping upward, which looks very healthy, as it's also holding above the 200 EMA and volume is picking up. A lot of these coins that I'm bringing up have similar patterns. I'm going to move over to DNT and BNT real quick, and I'll do a video on the other important coins. But you can see that the formation broke over that downward trend line, tested as support, pushed up, and then starting to get a little consolidation over that 200 EMA. The RSI is at the 50. Volume is picking up, but also the volume is decreasing, the price is increasing. We would consider that divergence. This is only in the 4-hour chart, however, but if we go with this in a similar potential height that this could be returning to, let's move out to the daily. So this is definitely more of a swing trade, but just say from this high right here, which is around 19 cents, down to 2.7 more or less. The 618 is around 13 cents from a 2-cent investment. Does not seem like much, but that is very massive in gains, and its all-time high is over a quarter. So a 2-cent investment is not bad, as we are at an absolute low, breaking over downward trend lines. So keep DNT on your bucket list. Moving over to BNT, which is doing exactly what we expected. We could consider this being the right shoulder if it does not push down again to test this 200 EMA. However, that is possible. We could just be pushing up to the 76-cent line and beyond. But BNT from our entry down here at 35 cents, currently at 70 cents, we are over double money. And BNT also has a very, very long way to go to hit its top. Currently 70 cents, its high being up here around $20. So if you're looking for a 20x coin or something that you could be putting your money on, BNT is definitely a good bet. Also not financial advice. And we're going to sneak in Dogecoin on this one. Dogecoin is doing a similar pattern where it had that push upwards, had that rejection right off the line that we had pasted, I guess a couple months ago at 21 cents. Rejection support off this blue and green CM guppy lines, and held that, pushed up. It just needs to break this high and hold for a continuation on Dogecoin. They say the all-time high can be $4. We are at 20 cents at the moment. And you could see this as a bigger inverse head and shoulders pattern, this being the left shoulder, this being head, everybody loves head, and this being the right shoulder, before ultimately pushing back up towards the 28-cent mark. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want. References in the links below. Tornado Cash is bought and sold on MEXC. Reference in the link below for lowest trading fee platform. And good luck. Have fun with it.